To really understand why pineapple doesn't just cause a weird tingling feeling, but is actually sort of fighting back as you eat it, you need to look closely at a specific compound inside the fruit called bromelain. Bromelain is an enzyme, more precisely a proteolytic enzyme. In simple terms, it's a protein that breaks other proteins down into smaller pieces. Here's where it gets interesting. The inside of your mouth, your cheeks, tongue, and even the roof is all made up of proteins. When you bite into fresh pineapple, you release bromelain from the fruit's cells. As the juice spreads across your mouth, the enzyme immediately starts doing its job, breaking down the protective mucus layer and damaging the outer cells on your tongue. That prickly, slightly burning sensation you notice is actually the feeling of the enzyme gradually digesting the surface of your own tissue. Long before researchers managed to isolate this enzyme in the early 1900s, indigenous communities in Central and South America were already familiar with the pineapple's unusual ability to soften flesh. They didn't have the scientific term for it, but they understood that wrapping tough cuts of meat in pineapple leaves or soaking them in its juice would make the meat remarkably tender. What they were seeing was bromelain breaking down the dense muscle fibers, and its effects aren't limited to meat. By the mid-20th century, people working in pineapple canneries, handling and cutting the fruit all day, experienced something almost unbelievable. With constant exposure to high concentrations of bromelain, the enzyme would gradually wear down the ridges on their fingertips. In some cases, workers temporarily lost their fingerprints. Fortunately, the skin regenerated after they wore protective gloves or took time away from the job, but it highlights just how potent this natural compound can be. So if pineapple is, in a sense, digesting you as you eat it, why doesn't it actually cause any real harm? In nature, bromelain functions as a built-in defense system for the plant, helping it deter predators like insects. Its concentration is strong enough to affect small organisms, but not nearly enough to seriously harm humans. On top of that, the cells lining your mouth renew themselves extremely quickly, so any minor damage is repaired within just a few hours. And once the pineapple is swallowed, the bromelain quickly loses its effect. Your stomach acid breaks it down almost immediately, neutralizing it completely. If you'd rather enjoy pineapple without that uncomfortable sting, there are a couple of simple solutions. One method comes from Southeast Asia, soaking the fruit in lightly salted water. The salt changes the structure of the enzyme just enough to weaken it, essentially preventing it from irritating your mouth. Another option is to cook it, since heat deactivates bromelain completely. That's why canned pineapple, which has been heat-treated during processing, doesn't cause that tingling sensation. Additionally, as the fruit ripens, it gradually reduces the amount of active enzyme. So choosing a more overripe pineapple can help minimize the effect. Click the video on your screen right now, and I'll explain another everyday mystery you've wondered about your whole life, but never thought to look up.